Congresswoman, Mayor Kim Janey was on OTR last week. She was our guest. We asked about the difference between what she wanted to cut from the Boston police budget and when she was city council president and what she actually did as acting mayor. Did she do the right thing?
You know, what I will say is that we have much work to do to have a fundamental culture change in the Boston Police Department. And again, police departments, writ large throughout this country. That begins with transparency and accountability. So I'm very encouraged by the steps that have been made, around our having a civilian commission that has subpoena power. I'm encouraged by the appointment of Stephanie Everett to lead the police accountability and transparency effort that was recently founded, encouraged by the steps that Boston City Council recently took to limit the use of tear gas and of rubber bullets. But there is more work that remains to be done. And on the federal level, what I'm going to continue to push for is an end to qualified immunity. Why would people be deterred? Those in law enforcement who engage with callous disregard of Black and brown bodies with reckless impunity and suffer no consequences. There can never be justice, because justice would mean that the many lives that we have been robbed of would still be here. But there must be accountability. This is an unjust doctrine, and it must be abolished. And that's why I recently reintroduced my legislation to end qualified immunity.
But should Kim Janey have cut the budget further until she saw more results from the Boston Police Department, or at least negotiated more changes?
I'll just say, having served on the Boston City Council, I'm very familiar with the unjust budgetary choices that were foisted onto us. I experience that now on the federal level. And I believe that first responders, law enforcement, have a role to play in society, but they need to play a role in every aspect of society, and they don't want to. We should not be deploying police to the home of someone who's battling mental illness and distress. We should be deploying mental health clinicians. Instead of investing in more school police, we should be investing in those socio-emotional wellness supports that we know are proven to support our children in their health and their wholeness, and also in their readiness to learn.
You are a Boston resident. You just mentioned you're a former city councilor. Will you be endorsing anyone in the Boston mayoral race before the September primary?
Right now I'm just taking in the historic nature of this field. The caliber of the talent. I know all of these people very well. I'm honored to call, them friends and colleagues. And I'm excited to just hear what their visions are for the city of Boston and what kind of campaigns that they build. But my priority right now is to ensure that the Massachusetts 7th and Boston, of course, which is, that represents a large part of the Massachusetts 7th, that it has a just, robust, and equitable recovery from this pandemic. And of course, that the vaccine continues to be equitably accessible.
So it sounds like you might endorse before September. Is that fair to say?
We'll see.